Imagine disappearing from the world for days. No phone, no internet, no news, no contact with your family. Now imagine that before entering this isolation, you were given a single responsibility: to choose the next spiritual leader of more than 1 billion people. And even worse, the person chosen might be you. Every time a pope dies or resigns, a centuries-old machine begins to move inside the Vatican. Doors are sealed. Signals are blocked. Oaths of absolute secrecy are sworn. And men dressed in red disappear behind the walls of the Sistine Chapel. The world sees only smoke. But inside, one of the most unusual elections on earth is taking place. No campaigns, no debates, no official candidates. Only tradition, psychological pressure, and absolute secrecy. Today, you're about to discover how a ritual transforms an ordinary man into the Pope. There's something deeply unusual about the papacy. You can't apply for it. No one launches a campaign. No one publicly declares, "I want to become Pope." In fact, showing too much ambition for the position is often viewed negatively within the Church. The entire process works almost as the opposite of the modern world. While politicians campaign to gain power, inside the Vatican, power is supposed to find you. And that journey begins long before the Conclave, decades before. The man who enters a papal election has usually spent his entire life within the structure of the Church. Years studying philosophy, years studying theology, years serving communities, handling internal conflicts, navigating religious politics, and practicing diplomacy. Because many people think a pope is simply a spiritual leader. He isn't. He is also the head of a sovereign state. He maintains diplomatic relations. He influences global debates. And he governs an institution that has existed for centuries. In other words, the Vatican isn't simply looking for someone deeply religious. It is looking for someone capable of carrying an enormous burden. And very few ever come close to that level of responsibility. When the time comes to choose a new pope, a very specific group is summoned to Rome: the cardinal electors. And this is where the atmosphere changes completely. Because a conclave isn't an ordinary meeting. It's genuine isolation. The doors are locked. Outside communication is completely cut off. Cell phones disappear. No messages come in. No information goes out. Even today, electronic sweeps are conducted to detect hidden microphones or surveillance devices. Everything is designed to prevent outside interference. And honestly, on a planet where even private family group chats somehow get leaked, the fact that this ritual can still keep its secrets might already qualify as a miracle. Now imagine yourself in that situation. You're confined inside one of the most famous places on Earth, surrounded by men you've perhaps known for decades. Every one of you aware that one person will walk out forever transformed. Then the voting begins. Silent. Repeated. Tense. It's not enough to receive the most votes. A qualified majority must be reached. And until that happens, the world continues waiting outside. Perhaps the most fascinating part is that the early favorites often don't win. Because as the days pass, alliances shift. Some names gain momentum. Others quietly fade away. The psychological pressure keeps growing. And history has seen conclaves last far longer than anyone originally expected. Outside, thousands of people stare at a single chimney. It sounds simple, almost absurd. Yet that plume of smoke has become one of the most recognizable symbols on Earth. Black smoke. No decision has been reached. White smoke. The Catholic Church has a new pope. And perhaps that's the most remarkable part of all. In an age dominated by artificial intelligence, social media, and instant information, a medieval ritual can still capture the attention of the entire world using smoke. Literal smoke. Human beings have always loved symbols, from cave paintings to trending topics. When someone is finally chosen, something almost cinematic happens. The elected cardinal is asked one simple question. Does he accept? Right there. In that very moment. No weeks of transition. No inauguration ceremony months later. His answer changes everything instantly. Because from that moment forward, the man he once was publicly disappears. Even his name changes. He chooses a new papal name, a new identity, a new image before the entire world. It's almost like stepping through a door that can never be crossed again. Then comes silence. Those few seconds before the official announcement. Millions waiting. Until finally the famous words are spoken. Habemus Papam. We have a pope. Perhaps the most astonishing part of this entire story is realizing that the leader of one of the world's largest religions does not come to power through inheritance, war, or a popular election. Everything happens inside a closed room. No audience. No campaign. No algorithm. Only tradition, voting, and centuries of ritual. While the modern world spins faster and faster, the Vatican continues choosing its leaders in almost exactly the same way it has for hundreds of years. And that gives the conclave an almost timeless feeling, as if, for a few brief days, the past is still governing the present. In the end, the conclave is more than a religious election. It is a ritual of continuity. An ancient institution attempting to cross centuries without losing its own identity. And regardless of anyone's personal beliefs, It's difficult to deny the symbolic impact of seeing billions of eyes fixed on a column of white smoke rising above the skies of Rome. Because in that single moment, one cycle comes to an end, and another begins. If you enjoyed this type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. In future videos, you'll delve even deeper into the mysteries of humanity.